Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Wilds War Cry. I am your host, Stephen Wiles. Today, I have with me the master of his own disaster, the hater of everything beautiful, Ulysses.
Master of my own disaster. I like that one. I'm gonna steal that.
Right. And joining us once again, since he was able to get out of school on time for once, the cream of the crop, if that crop is dying in this Georgia heat, Chris.
Hi.
You know, I worked really hard on that intro. You could at least give me something.
Hi, guys.
Always a charismatic enigma.
You know, this week in wrestling, I watched a man come out and pretend to be Macho Man Randy Savage. That man was Damian Sandow. And I thought, man, he just doesn't have the same charisma. It's just not there. But if they had put him next to you, Chris, he would have been overflowing. That's how little charisma you have.
Oh, okay. Oh, you said Eucharist. I thought you said the Eucharist. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to need you to get the wax out of your ears or something.
Oh, sorry. I can't hear. Little known fact, I'm actually deaf.
All right. Sorry. Well, we're going to proceed with our new deaf cast member here.
What?
So, all right, here we are. We're back. There's a lot going on. A lot of little stuff. One, I know none of you two could be bothered to watch Lucha Underground.
I'm going to start.
Just so you know, one of the coolest matches I think they've done in a while. They've had a lot of really good matches. But on last week's episode, we got to see a match that involved Johnny Mundo, who you better know as John Morrison, and Alberto El Patron Del Rio. They had an amazing match, yeah. And it's building up to something kind of cool with the title picture there. So I would recommend, if you can find the time, now is a really good time to start watching Lucha Underground. It's some real good quality wrestling. The promos are fun. The only thing that I'm hearing that I kind of hate, for those of you, Ulysses, you saw a couple episodes, right?
I've seen a couple here and there, but that was quite a way back.
Right. The only rumor that I'm hearing I don't like is that apparently the episodes are very expensive to shoot because of the backstage promos and some of the locations and stuff they've been using, and therefore it's not making quite as much money as they were hoping. Like, the show is profitable. It is making money. It's not making as much money as they are spending on it.
No, man, it sucks.
Yeah, so
It's terrible.
They haven't confirmed, last I checked, that there will be a season 2, but it looks that way. I'm interested. I haven't heard how much time they're actually going to take off. We're so used to wrestling programs now being continuous and not having seasons per se. I know Raw technically has like a season premiere show, but that's more for USA's purposes than their own. However, Lucha Underground has already taken it took like a mid-season break. I believe it was only 3 weeks. It wasn't anything large. But I'm interested to see how a wrestling show that takes breaks might do, because when Raw and SmackDown come every week, when you have multiple shows like that, sometimes it just becomes a chore to tune in and to see what's happening every week on this program. And I wonder if maybe a break, build up a little anticipation, maybe do a little bit more in your comeback episode might help. You guys have any thoughts on that?
See, I see it kind of differently. I see it more like the mindset of a kid waiting for like Saturday morning cartoon when that was a thing. It's like it's such a habit, and it's one of those things that we like wait for, whether it's good or bad. We do kind of wait for it. It's like what they say when wrestlers get hurt. If you're gone for too long, the audience kind of just forgets about you and kind of just doesn't care anymore. So you kind of run the risk of doing that. Like, granted, I know they've built themselves a very good fan base, but like someone like me who likes to watch it on a regular and like is like very comfortable knowing that like the sun will shine another day, that no matter what, it's gonna come back around. And to like think of it that I could go a couple weeks or whatever without watching like Raw or SmackDown or NXT or stuff like that. That kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like I don't know I don't know if that's how you guys see it.
I mean, really, even if it was just like 2 weeks, like I definitely agree with you. I wouldn't take too much time off, but even if it was just like a 2 week period where you could kind of let it settle, or maybe in that 2 week period you do a pay-per-view, right? But you don't do all of your shows. That just wouldn't work for you.
Maybe like I'd be more than interested to see like them do like because their show is roughly about an hour, right?
Lucha Underground is, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see them do like how NXT does, where every once in a while they'll do like a special 2 hour show.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see if they could pull that off.
And now their season finale could be 2 hours. I've only heard a little bit of information about the season finale, but we'll see. So, Chris, I definitely recommend you start watching Lucha Underground, and then you can tell us your thoughts on not only the show, but also whether you think that might help them.
We were just talking about the season gap now, right? And the season, like having a gap in between the action for the wrestler's sake, I like. I mean, maybe like Ulysses was saying, at least I don't like how it's not going to be there every week, like how in Raw I know it's going to be there every week, but for the wrestler's sake, I like the breaks, just saying.
True. I could also see that being a good thing on their end. Okay, so Speaking of television shows, WWE Network added several new shows. The first was a special, which we're not going to get any more of, I don't think, but was Mick Foley's Cheap Pops. Did either one of y'all watch that?
Going to.
Okay.
I tried. Keyword being tried.
You weren't the only one. So you told me that your network messed up on it, and mine messed up on the Jericho podcast with Stephanie McMahon, and it messed up a little bit on Cheap Pops. But on in both of those cases, I was able to just reset the page, and it worked fine.
No, like for me, the network messed up during the Jericho as well. Tried. I mean, like I just couldn't get through it. Like I love me some Mick Foley. I just could not get through it.
Oh, really? It just wasn't catching your attention?
Yeah, it wasn't catching my attention at all. And like there was some things that were like chuckle worthy, but he is such a dad, and it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I can see that. He is. You can tell he is that father figure, and I love one of his stories talks about how all the divas. What did they refer to him as? It was like the safety switch or something like that, and it was because they knew Mick Foley wouldn't try to hit on them. And I thought that was hilarious, because that seems like the type of guy who you would feel comfortable around back in the locker room.
Mick Foley's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So there's some other new shows. Not going to talk too much about all these because they've all just kind of started. One in particular is Renee Young, where she's interviewing several people, it looks like. But it's not going to be just wrestlers. The first episode was really cool, and it was her interviewing Seth Rollins and talking to him about his diet, the gym time, what he likes to do, some of his hobbies. It was kind of a neat, out-of-character look at a wrestler that I really like. So I enjoyed it. It wasn't a very long episode. It's pretty short. But the second one was talking about the two stars of the Hot Pursuit movie, whom I want to say is like Reese Witherspoon and someone else, but I don't.
Sofia Vergara.
Okay, I didn't know much about the movie, and I tried to watch that one, but kind of like with you, the only thing, it just wasn't keeping my attention, and that's kind of a sad fact because it was very short. I just couldn't stick with it. I don't know why.
And you can't even watch 10 minutes. What's wrong with you, man?
You know what? It's hard sometimes. I don't have ADD, but I'm pretty close. Yeah. So the other show that people have been talking about is Jerry Springer's show. I believe it's called Too Hot for Television or something like that. But that one's kind of interesting to me. And it's not that it's a very good show. It's just a clip show with a little bit of narration from Jerry Springer talking about some different things that have happened in the World Wrestling Federation and the WWE. A lot of it focuses on Attitude Era and early 2000s stuff. But it's kind of neat because there are these parts where you can just kind of sit back and just go, oh, that really happened. Like, that somebody okayed that. Have you guys seen either of these episodes that they put out?
I have not yet. Are you saying like somebody okayed that as in this was a really weird feud or something like that, or angle? And
yeah, a lot of it is
kind of like what we did with what was that Judgment Day with Kurt Angle and Booker T?
a lot of it is, wow, they thought this would make good television. And there are a couple too that it's definitely you watch some of these things, you're like, okay, like one of the last episodes was talking about the scene where they almost cut Val Venus's penis off, with Kai and Tai and I can't remember their manager's name.
Something Sun. That's all I know.
Yeah, of course it was something. Thank you, Ulysses.
Wait, hey, I was able to say more than you, weren't I? Wasn't I?
I knew that part.
I win. What does I win?
Anyway,
I decree Ulysses the victor.
Anyway,
Ding, ding, ding.
the point is, I thought it was interesting because you're just stuff
Nagasaki, I think.
I think it was something like that. But it was stuff like this that you're like, man, they totally would never do that today. It just, no one would approve that today. But
the greatest thing was, I forgot that, like, that John Wayne's, I forgot what was his name, dude, was the one who came with them. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
And you
I
can
forgot
see that
he
guy's,
came out with him. Yeah.
you can see his face was like, man, I really don't want to be here.
God, I need the money.
Yeah.
All that penis reattachment surgery is expensive.
That was great.
Some of the stuff with Mark Henry,
You got a penis.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that plot line. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It just, I'd forgotten about it. But, so that's, to me, that show's not one I really care if it sticks around or not. It's just kind of entertaining for the meantime. You know, do you guys, is that something y'all would watch?
I'd like to see it. It's like a behind-the-scenes type of look at it, and I definitely like that type of stuff.
Yeah,
I hate Jerry Springer.
Do you?
I do hate that.
Why do you hate Jerry Springer?
Because I'm a Maury guy.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
I just don't like those type of shows.
I didn't realize there was a faction war going on here.
It was a brand war.
Yeah, I remember being younger and coming home from school and like that'd be like the only thing on were those types of shows, and that would be the only reason I'd ever watch. And it's like, well, at least they have fights sometimes, you know. That was it. So the show that I'm more interested in out of all of the ones we've talked about so far has to be Corey Graves' show Culture Shock, and I know why. The first two episodes really kind of hit, I guess, my nerd center. The first episode, they go to Marvel Comics headquarters, and they kind of look at how a comic book is made. And again, this isn't a very long show, and it's mostly just Corey Graves interviewing people and asking them questions about their jobs and what they like and stuff. I really kind of dig it. It has a feel of like the Anthony Bourdain shows where he kind of wanders around and finds interesting stuff. This is not quite like that, but I think this is kind of the feel they were going for. The second episode had him going to Celebration, whatever number they're up to, with Star Wars. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but this was entertaining, especially when he kept going around trying to find at least one person who liked Jar Jar Binks, you know, so... and I loved Corey Graves as a wrestler. I'll admit, I was so glad when they picked him up as an announcer because he's one of those guys who I think was really good in the ring, and he had an unfortunate, luck, had the medical problems that he's had. So it's really good to see him not only doing what he's doing as an announcer, but to see him thrive well enough that they give him a show on the network. So I hope that continues.
I'll give Corey Graves props because I was kind of late to the Corey Graves bandwagon because I didn't get to see much because of the health issues. But from the little bit that I saw, I was a big fan. I was kind of disappointed as well. But I'll give him props because I guess he just pitched a show to like Vince or something. He's like, hey, here's a show. Just send me places I want to go to so I can dick around and enjoy the stuff. Like that's brilliant. Like I would love to do that. Like. Just pay for me traveling anywhere, and I just want to mess around with the stuff I like. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I have no clue if he pitched the show or if they had this idea for the show and they just were looking for the right host. Either way, I would love a show. It's just like, oh wait, you're gonna send me to comic books related stuff and Star Wars related stuff? I'll go.
Where do I sign?
It sounds like an interesting show. I'm not too crazy about the name because there's other reasons that I'll get into later, but I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, and I recommend it. This is something that I know I'm preaching to the choir on some people's behalf, but if either of these shows really do seem like something you would like, go check them out now because the network really pays attention to their analytics, to their views and all that. And so the shows that get more views, if you really hate the Jerry Springer show, make sure the other shows get more views than that show, because those are the ones that'll stick around or get a season 2 or whatever. Though I don't know how much they're paying Springer. He may not stick around past his initial run anyway, because, the other two that we mentioned are all in company, so.
Is that why they don't do any more episodes of WrestleMania Rewind? Because that was my favorite.
That was a good one, and I honestly don't know why they don't do any more of those. That's a very good question. See, some stuff works on seasons, so they may be doing more, and it's just taking time. Also, some stuff I know got quietly canceled because it just wasn't getting the views they wanted. So that unfortunately may have happened to WrestleMania Rewind. I'm not sure about that.
As long as they bring back Legends House, I'll be happy.
Yeah, they're supposed to be working on a second season. I haven't heard much, and I'm really excited for Tough Enough. But here's my question of the day. What show, if any, what type of show would you like to see on the WWE Network? Now, I'm going to give you guys a second to think about this while I tell you my idea, okay?
I already got mine. All right. You go ahead.
I'm gonna give you guys just a second so you can flesh that out. But here's mine. And I know at first when I say this, you're gonna be like, I don't think this would work. But I really would love to see a show with Dolph Ziggler of him going on random blind dates with WWE fans. Now they've kind of done this. They kind of did this, not necessarily with a WWE fan, but they did a skit where he used to have a show called WWE Download, and they followed him around on one of the Out of the Ring segments, and he was talking about going on dates and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to take this further though. I want to send him to random locations that I understand this might be a little bit costly, but I really think this will get views. So you send him somewhere like Disney World or the Empire State Building, or kind of iconic places, right? And then you pull a random WWE fan and have a blind date there with Dolph Ziggler, but then you set up kind of just little stuff, like you have the dinner and all that, but then make it
somebody go through the table.
No,
just randomly. Two people, two local indie wrestlers, just go through a table across the
not interfering on the men's show.
You think that would get the numbers there?
Yeah, anyway. Just introduce hardcore rules to a blind date.
All right, so you would have
where the woman is not hurt.
Hardcore rules to a blind date kind of has a double meaning, but whatever. Continue, Steven.
All right, so you have random stuff happen, okay, so if they go to the Empire State Building, then you have random entertainment parts, like a guy with a harmonica comes up and starts trying to perform for them and stuff like that. And we all know Dolph Ziggler is really funny, so I really think what should happen is he starts purposely trying to see how quickly he can get this girl not to like him. It's basically like How to Lose a Girl in 10 steps or whatever, but on a blind date. That's my idea.
I like it.
That's a good idea.
Mainly because it stars a wrestler that I like.
Well, not just that. I think it would allow him to use some of his comedic talents, but anyway.
Okay, so I thought of two things.
Okay,
First off, this one's kind of simple, but involves Kane.
Wait, does it involve hardcore rules and putting women through tables?
No, not at all.
Okay,
just
ahead.
Kane, preferably masked Kane, and give him a cooking show.
I knew it. As soon as you said masked Kane, I was like, it's a cooking show.
And then he just talks about all his favorite dishes he likes to cook for the devil, because he's the devil's favorite demon, probably because of his cooking.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. They've never actually answered why he's the devil's favorite.
I think it's
demon,
for
so I think that's a good answer. Okay.
I can't beat that.
And then the other one I was thinking is a Survivor type of show, like Survivor Man or Man vs. Wild, but more importantly, Naked and Afraid. And put in, I don't know, but make it like a combo type of thing. I was thinking John Cena and, I don't know, throw a diva in there. AJ Lee. Oh, she's not with the company anymore.
I want the ugly one.
Tamina Snuka.
Oh, that's so weird.
I wouldn't say she's ugly, but okay.
I was going to say Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. a hideous looking human being.
Put in well, anyway, have a dual survival type of thing, preferably like Naked and Afraid, where they just go and have their trials and tribulations in the wilderness.
That's great.
Okay. All right, Ulysses, what is yours?
All right, I too have 2 ideas for a TV show, but I don't know if they'll be as good as Chris. You set the bar pretty high there, Steven. Try harder. Anyway.
Oh.
All right, so Steven, question: who is my favorite wrestler at the moment that doesn't get enough time? That I believe.
Big E Langston.
Big E, damn Langston. So first show, it's like I always say that Big E has like a boatload of charisma. Like I mean a ton.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I just want either one of my episodes is I want like a day in the life of the New Day kind of a thing. I want them to follow Kofi and like
Xavier.
Rhodes.
yeah, Xavier and Big E. I want them to follow everywhere. But I want them to do exactly how they're doing, where they're the good guys, but they do like they're still kind of hated kind of a thing. Like I want them to walk old elderly grandmas across the street when the grandmas don't want to cross the street kind of a thing. So they're like, no man.
They're the opposite of an anti-hero.
Yeah, they're just gonna do all the good things, but like that nobody wants them to do. So I want them to start. I want them to start like I said, like help old ladies cross the street. Like I want like someone who could reach the top shelf, and he goes like, "No, sir, I got it," and he gets it from the top shelf and gives it to him, and he goes
It's like a little step ladder.
"Yeah," he's like, "I could have gotten that," and he goes like, "Your day has been saved by the New Day." I want that. That's one episode.
That's pretty good.
That's great.
Would you call this a day in the life of the nude day?
No, New Day.
New Day.
I don't want
God
to.
damn it. All right.
The only one who should ever not have a shirt is Biggie, which perfectly leads into my second show.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
no.
So we have technology. We have really decent technology. WWE has more money than anything they know how to spend it on. So I'm pretty sure they could find a way to make small cameras and small videotapes, right? So what I want them to do is I want a show where Big E walks the whole day without a shirt, and he has 2 cameras on his nipples, so we can. And I want
How did
this,
I know you were going there?
because it's beautiful.
This is why we're calling it the nude day. That's why.
No, because this show has 2 reasons. Okay, I want 2 reasons for this one. One, I want to know how it feels to be like in one of those baby burins while Biggie's walking and shit. That'd be great. I want to be stuck up. And the second is I want to see like how much attention those breasts of him actually get, because he's gonna be walking around and that camera's gonna catch everybody looking at him, and I want to be watching it with like one of those ticker timers and like keep clicking every time I see someone stare at his breast. It's gonna be a beautiful show.
Oh.
How
God.
about a Hangover type? This would be a movie, Hangover type of movie starring those 3.
Oh, that'd be great.
Only if Xavier Woods grows back his damn facial hair. He looks awkward. I've never really seen him much without his facial hair. I know we were talking about Consequences Creed, but to me, he just looks so weird with the hair pulled back and no facial hair.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I should clearly have went with my original show idea, which was just to follow Dean Ambrose around and see what he does when he's not, actually wrestling, because he just seems like the type who would get into crazy adventures. But thank you both for your suggestions on WWE shows. I'm going to email these all to WWE and see if they'll pick any of these
And
up
they'll
and give
be
me money.
they'll be rudely ignored.
I don't know. The day in the life of the New Day sounds pretty awesome to me.
Stop being negative. Okay. All right. On from shows, we want to talk about pay-per-views because there are a lot of pay-per-views. There are 3 this month, if my math is correct. We have Payback, and then it was just announced that we're also going to have Elimination Chamber as kind of a special pay-per-view. And it's funny because we were talking about, shows kind of slowing down, but do we think there are too many pay-per-views going on now for WWE?
This month, yeah, but this was kind of thrown together at the last second because of
It really
Daniel
seems
Bryan's
that way.
injury. But you said this, yeah, there was only 3 weeks of separation in between Extreme Rules and Payback, instead of the usual 4,
Right.
which I thought was odd. But I think they do that with one pay-per-view every year. Usually the May pay-per-view is midway through the month and not at the end of it.
Right.
But the Elimination Chamber type of deal, that was just, I kind of can't blame them, but they shouldn't have made it a pay-per-view. Maybe have it on like a Raw. If they're trying to elevate the belt, so yeah, put it on a Raw, not a SmackDown. That wouldn't help the belt at all. But I think for the situation at hand, I can see it, but if you're looking at it from a distance, yeah, there's too many going on right now.
Steven, just for clarification, this is just a network exclusive, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it? The Elimination Chamber?
It originally was, and then information came out, I believe yesterday or maybe even today, that it's actually going to be available on pay-per-view. So they're just not advertising it. They're trying to hammer in these network subscriptions. So I don't want to think it's too many, because Elimination Chamber is something I did want to come back. But the thing that I see is the more pay-per-views that you have, the less important pay-per-views in general become. Because if there's just too many pay-per-views, it doesn't feel like a big event. It just feels like it's another one of these things. Like TNA hasn't been doing pay-per-views on pay-per-view. They've been doing their big, marquee themed kind of pay-per-view events on their normal shows, because they're not doing as many pay-per-view events. They only have like 1 or 2 actual events that go to pay-per-view. But, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they had an all knockouts night where they kind of put the center on the knockouts, had some really good matches. Then they did their Hardcore Justice, and then, just different stuff like that. And they just, unfortunately, they had, in like a 6-week span, they had like 3 of those kind of themed nights. And I think it just became too much, because now, it just doesn't seem like a big deal at all. And I'm afraid the WWE pay-per-views are going to become like that if they add too many pay-per-views.
Okay, see, this is where I'm going to slightly disagree with you. WWE already does that. Like, they don't really hype up Payback, Extreme Rules, Night of Champions, Battleground, etc. They don't really hype those up as much as they do SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and the Royal Rumble. And I know Survivor Series is supposed to be the big 4, but they've done such a terrible job booking Survivor Series the last couple years that it's kind of fallen down the wayside.
Hey, last year it was great. It had Sting and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, but
take away that, and what do you got?
Change hands, or was it in a position to change hands?
Yeah, take away that, and what do you have? Like that?
Not much, yeah.
Exactly, and they haven't really done much. Like the last Survivor Series, I remember that I really liked was, and that was just because I believe it was CM Punk when he beat Del Rio for the belt. Other than that, Survivor Series to me hasn't really meant anything since they used to do the Raw versus SmackDown one. And I
do agree with you on that. That they have not done Survivor Series well, and had Sting not shown up at Survivor Series last year, it probably wouldn't have been that memorable anyway.
Yeah, it probably would have gone over like a dud. But
fart in church, sir. It would have been like a fart in church.
Would have gone over like a wet fart in church. See, now you guys made me lose my point. I appreciate that. But yeah, so like they've done that already. They've kind of already watered down their own pay-per-views. And the only thing I hate about this is, we brought this up last podcast, Steven, that why bring up a pay-per-view that in this day and age it doesn't work? Like the first Elimination Chamber was awesome. With like Jericho, Kane, Goldberg, and them. I believe Goldberg. No, I think it was in the second one. I don't know.
I think he was the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, the one with Shawn Michaels won. That one's probably still the best one, but that was in an era where that made sense. The last couple ones weren't all that exciting. Like, why bring this one back? I'd rather you bring back something funky like In Your House. That'd be cool.
Okay, that was out of left field, but yeah. So I like the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. One thing I think that they don't do well is they're only doing one actual Elimination Chamber match usually. Now sometimes you have 2, but I think they should focus more. If you're going to do an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, I think you should have 3, maybe 4 of those types of matches. But That's my opinion. I know not everybody agrees with that. And I do kind of see your point there because, I know Elimination Chamber wasn't doing the buys that they were wanting it to, so I wonder why they didn't just do a new event. But I don't really want them to just slap a shitty name like Fastlane on a new pay-per-view and not have a real gimmick for it or have any real good purpose. Your pay-per-views, the matches either need to be good or the gimmick needs to draw. And in my opinion, Elimination Chamber at least has a gimmick that draws a little bit. Nowhere near as much as Money in the Bank or Royal Rumble, but at least a little.
I
See, the thing,
like the name.
I don't like Elimination Chamber matches, Steel Cage matches. I like Hell in a Cell, but it's just because it's so confusing. Not really confusing, but hard to watch through all the chain link fence and all this. And I just don't like the position I'm put in to just I have to watch this wrestling through a bunch of garbage.
I will agree with you on that. The chain takes a little bit away, and what really kills it is that one time where I actually saw the cameraman in the chamber. I'm like, what is that motherfucker doing in there? Get him out of there! All right, Ulysses,
See, like,
you were saying something.
That's why I always like the pay-per-view No Way Out, because in No Way Out they either always had a Hell in a Cell match, a Steel Cage match, or an Elimination Chamber match. Like, I think that happened once, but still,
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, that No Way Out was a good pay-per-view. I agree with you on that.
Bring that one back or No Mercy.
Or Rock Bottom.
I actually would really... I would not make it an annual thing. I would love to see them bring War Games back, like, once. I think it'd be good.
Which one's the one with the 3 cages?
Oh, God, no.
Is that World War III?
That was a WCW abortion. Let's not talk about it.
I could go under the roof.
Hey, wait, wasn't it technically called the Tower of Doom? Wasn't that when the 3 cages were stacked on top of each other?
Yeah, wasn't that...
You don't mention...
Didn't that end with somebody getting electrocuted?
Ready to Rumble. What's wrong with you? You just mentioned the match that came out in Ready to Rumble. What's wrong with you?
But it actually was in...
I don't care. It came out in Ready to Rumble.
Because Jeff Jarrett won the match. I remember watching that. Because
David Arquette gave it to him.
Which one's the one where that guy gets electrocuted?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Oh, God, I don't remember the name of it, but I remember watching that and just rolling my eyes the entire time. Jesus, that really did happen. That's one of those things, like, you mentioned that, and I'm like, nah, man, that was in a movie, or we just talked about... Oh, no, that really did happen in a wrestling match. God damn it. Okay, so I think we can all agree that this may not be the best strategy, but I'm interested to see what happens, so... We'll see.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
One thing I do want to talk about before we go any further is Chris mentioned Daniel Bryan earlier. I was reading this morning that they may be looking, for some non-wrestling related roles for him in the company for a while. He's not definitely retired from everything I've read, but it doesn't look good right now, and they're not expecting him back. And I agree. I don't want him to come back anytime soon. I want him to take his time. I want him to make sure if he does come back that he is 100%. So we do know that he will be helping out with the new season of Tough Enough, which I'm really interested to see his role in that. I think Daniel Bryan would make a really good teacher, a mentor to some young wrestlers. So that could be really cool. However, what kind of position would you guys think, non-wrestling positions, would you like to see him as? I don't really see him as a great announcer, but maybe as a Mick Foley style GM.
God damn it!
I was gonna say,
bastard.
That was my
shit.
Let us answer.
That was
my default answer whenever this question gets brought up.
That was
been brought up
too
a couple
easy.
times.
I
want him to be the Mick Foley commissioner type of deal.
That was too easy. That was a gimme. You can't rely on that. I can't let you guys get away.
How about that? Change it up.
Shit.
I want him to be Teddy Long. He's obsessed with tag team matches and The Undertaker.
So you want him to be the general manager / commissioner?
No, I want him to be Teddy Long.
But do you want him to come? You want Daniel Bryan to come out? Yeah, and say playa.
With the same music. Okay, there we go. That's my Daniel Bryan angle for the week. There we go. He's Teddy Long now.
Oh God. Should have just stuck with the TV shows. Ulysses, give me something better than that. Give me something better than that.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know if you can get better.
I got it. This one's gonna make Steven happy.
All right.
Okay. I want him to become Heidenreich. Boom, I'm done. Thank you.
So he wouldn't wrestle, but he would
But he
go
finds a
around
friend every week.
and he would corner people backstage and
Yeah,
read
like
them poetry.
yeah, who like you can't do Michael Cole because that's been done. So he's gonna somehow capture like Bryan Saxton, even though he's like bigger and stronger than him, or like Tom Phillips, because he looks like my little nephew and whatnot. So I want him to get up there and like with the beard and everything, goes like, I've been seeing you forever, and like I'm gonna give you something that I've been wanting to give you forever. And then he pulls out the poem and he reads it. It's gonna be beautiful. And then and then I already got the song. Instead of like Heidenreich, it would be like Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan. Thank you. I win.
These are horrible. Yeah. These are wretched.
Hey, it happened once, so it's not my fault. Like I'm not the idiot.
All right. Yes, I thought what would be kind of cool is actually have Daniel Bryan come in, and he can't wrestle, so let's keep this in mind. We're talking about this gimmick, right? So have him come in and you talk about, have him be off TV for a little while until after Tough Enough, right? And then people are like, oh, well, Daniel Bryan and Brie, they're having financial trouble because Bryan can't wrestle anymore and all that. So first couple weeks, you have him come in and you see Daniel Bryan in the back as a janitor. Like, no shit. Like, I want him cleaning toilets and shit, right? Then he asked if there's anything else he can do, blah, blah, blah. So the Authority, assuming they're still in power, they bring him up. And let's say that they've gotten rid of Kane by this point, because it looks like that's where the storyline's heading to anyway.
Yeah, because they're ready to put him on his new cooking show.
Yeah. So that's exactly. So it reminds me, there's a clip that you can unlock in one of the Mortal Kombat games. It's called Cooking with Scorpion. It's hilariously funny. You can YouTube it. I imagine the Kane cooking show would be just like that. Anyway. So Daniel Bryan comes up, and he's now the new director of operations or whatever. And you have WWE you have the Authority kind of pushing him around and abusing him. And one of the things about Kane is anytime Seth Rollins pisses Kane off, Kane gets in the ring or fucks him over somehow or whatever. But Daniel Bryan can't do that. He can't wrestle. So what you have then is this kind of like beat down puppy dog story or whatever. Well, since he can't, let's just assume he can't wrestle to the end of the storyline. Hopefully by the end of that, maybe he'd be healed enough. You could actually have a really cool match between him and Triple H or Seth Rollins or whoever's in charge then. But if he can't do that, you actually have the storyline come in where he gets fired and then where the Authority gets fired and then he becomes in charge of Raw and SmackDown, like a general manager position or something like that. It's a way to keep him out of the ring, but still keep him relevant, keep his character there. I think it'd be pretty cool.
I want to change mine. I just thought of a better one.
All right, go ahead. Because Heidenreich was pretty bad.
Okay, hold on. First of all, Heidenreich was a masterpiece. It's going to come out to your local indie wrestling promotion near you. Anyway, I got it. You guys remember when he used to do The Gentleman? Obviously not. Okay, he used to like put his hair back all the way and put it like in a ponytail, and he used to call himself The Gentleman. And it's the funniest thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was like on a Superstars or a main event. He goes on the announcing table, which it's the funniest thing because it's a Saturday Morning Slam. I don't know why I made that reference. Point being,
wow.
I think he's watching like Cesaro and like R-Truth wrestle, and he talks about something about wrestling bears, and it's the funniest damn thing.
I do remember that.
So I'm thinking, The Gentleman wrestling bears. Who's done this? The Vaudevillains. He's gonna go to NXT and manage the Vaudevillains.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually.
That's a great idea.
That. Good one. Okay. So to wrap up, go ahead.
No, I said I win today.
I don't know. Teddy Long's pretty good.
No, your only win today was cooking with Kane. So let's keep it real there. All right. So to wrap up today, Payback's coming up. I'm going to go through the card that we are aware of so far. Card is subject to change as always, but I want to get one sentence. I'm going to say the match. I want to get one sentence from each of you on what you think about the match or how you think it'll come out. Something very quick, all right? We're going to start with Ulysses and then go to Chris. The kickoff show match is Damien Sandow, or Macho Mandow, whatever, and Curtis Axel versus the Ascension. Now, I saw a lot of people talking about the reuniting of the Mega Powers, but I don't know if this is going to work. Ulysses, go.
I hope the Ascension just. Is there any way like the building could collapse in itself for this match?
Chris.
I like Damian Sandow.
That's it? That's all you have to say?
This should be yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for not helping out there. All right. The next one. The match that I am trying to give a fuck about. I'm really trying, and it's not working. Ryback versus Bray Wyatt. Ulysses, go.
I want Bray Wyatt to dig 6 feet of dirt and just stay under there.
They are putting the Wyatt family back together, so I think WWE listened to our last podcast just because of your comments.
As long as they win.
Chris, go.
I want Ryback off TV. Bray Wyatt needs a better rival. There we go.
Man, that's kind of harsh. All right. A match I'm really looking forward to. King Barrett versus Neville, who used to have the first name. I think it'll be great. Ulysses, go.
Oh, hail the Red Arrow.
Yeah, all right. Chris.
They're going to manage a Red Arrow into a bullhammer. And I can't wait for that moment.
I'm actually looking forward to that. Sometimes you say, like, oh, they're going to do this, but no, that'll be good. Okay, good. I like it.
That's good.
Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler. Hopefully there will be no asses this time around. Ulysses, go.
I don't know. Ziggler has a pretty nice one.
That's your one comment. All right, Chris.
Get Sheamus far away from Ziggler and get Sheamus a new hairstyle.
I thought he had cut his hair because he was wearing a hat on Raw, but then I realized he just shoved all of that under whatever it is under the hat. Okay. All right. A match that should entertain Ulysses. It's Cesaro and Tyson Kidd wanting to reclaim their belts against the New Day in a 2 out of 3 falls match, which I love the idea of making this a 2 out of 3 falls match. It feels like a little bit bigger of a match. It's kind of a grudge thing, and it makes it seem like they really want those titles. Ulysses, go.
The New Day wins on the 3rd fall via submission because Big E taps Tyson Kidd out with his breast.
You really have an obsession, and I think you need to see someone.
I'm sorry.
I think you need help. Chris.
Big E's the greatest.
New Day wins in the 3rd fall because Big E taps out Tyson Kidd with his breast.
All right, fine. You know what? Just to spite both of you, I say it's not going to happen. But I say Cesaro and Kidd win, and it's because
in the 1st fall.
It's because Natalya low blows or Big E. She low blows Big E, and he falls over onto one of the others. And they pin both of them. I think it'll be great. Okay. All right, moving on. Now we have the I Quit match between Rusev and John Cena for the U.S. belt. I can't imagine Rusev winning this, but I'd actually really like to see that happen. Ulysses, go.
Rusev wins because he does something truly vile and deceiving. Finally. So
you think he might do what we discussed about just putting Lana in the Accolade to make Cena say I quit?
Hopefully.
Okay.
And then it turns out that she
was
planned that all along.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Chris?
Super Cena quits for nobody.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay. All right.
He quits for no man.
Fatal 4-way match. This is the big one. This is Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. This is the big thing for the belt for this, the main event. However, the stipulation is if Rollins fails to retain, Kane is fired from the Authority. I really don't see. I think that Rollins will retain. I think it will still continue the storyline of with Kane, with him eventually getting fired. However, I would pay money to see Ambrose win this. Ulysses.
I just really don't want Ambrose to be the fall guy. That's pretty much my only.
You don't want him to be pinned.
Yeah, I'd rather have Orton or Reigns.
Okay, Chris.
This came way too soon. Why isn't this at SummerSlam?
I kind of agree with you on that. This really feels like they. I don't know what happened here, but it really feels like they kind of jumped the gun a little bit on what could have been a much bigger match and everything.
Also, is there a Divas match on this card?
I have the card as of yesterday, and there's not a Divas match on the card yet. I'm pretty sure they'll do something with Naomi. By the way, can we take a moment? We have discussed a lot in the past wrestlers' themes that we really like. I actually think Naomi's new theme helps her out a lot. It's catchy. It works with this look that she's got with her freaking light up shoes and glasses. And it just, I don't know, it's a good attitude change for her through her theme song.
It's no Sasha Banks. I love that song.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's no Paige.
Are you okay? Did you have a stroke over there? So, no, I think that's a good point, though. Sometimes when you have a heel to face turn, changing themes, kind of setting her apart, I think kind of got her away finally from the Funkadactyl stuff. So, I don't know. I really like it. Naomi's a talented wrestler. They'll probably do something with her. And they've been doing this weird thing where I think the Bellas are face now, technically.
I think it's just a heel versus heel.
I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm okay if it's heel versus heel. Maybe Nikki will cheat to win and remind us she's a heel. I don't know. I don't care. It'll be decent. Their last match was not bad. I didn't hate it.
I never thought I was gonna miss AJ Lee this much, but Jesus, do I miss her.
Mm-hmm.
But she's happy, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, you'll get over it. All right, that's the show. That's the show today. Thank you guys for listening. I would like to thank Ulysses and Chris for joining me, even though, most of your ideas today were not good. The Heidenreich thing, and then the...
Look for Cooking with Kane,
look for
A Day in the Life with the New Day coming to the WWE Network sometime in summer 2016.
Ulysses, if somebody wants to ask you about Big E's tits, where can they find you to do
At
this?
Heel Seakoff.
But, okay.
Any conversation involving Big E, I want in.
Apparently you need to CC Kaufman on the tit conversation. Wow, that sounds so weird to say. Okay. Ulysses, where can people find you?
On Twitter, at WeChill. Yeah, Steven
It'll be in the description. Yeah, okay. Chris already said, so is there anything else you want to advertise, Chris?
I'm currently writing for a sports blog. I've got a couple things on wrestling up there. It's called youngspeaksports.com. I recommend.
I don't recommend it because most of the things I see come from there are not wrestling related, but they're about the sports ball.
Okay, look, if you're a sports fan, go there. It's a good read. If you're a wrestling fan, I have 2 articles up there about wrestling.
If you like the sports ball, you should go to Young Speak. Is that it?
Yeah, youngspeaksports.com.
See, look, Chris, Steve is not going to put you over. I will. Young Speed Sports, greatest website on the planet. You're welcome.
I'm not knocking Chris. I'm knocking the amount of sports ball. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Wait, that's how you put a man
I purposefully gave him the opportunity to talk about this. I could have just been like, and that's our show. Fuck y'all, we're out.
You just did a Cena.
But you retconned it. You're just like, no, don't go there. It's sports. No, sports, no. No wrestling on there whatsoever. Don't do it.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I think we've taken up enough of y'all's time. You guys have a good one. I'll see you next time.
Bye.